just go live. Yes, thank you. Welcome to Grade Point 5. Fucking. Damn. Hey, everybody. Trying to. OBS wanted to be stupid and didn't want me to go live. I had to jump through hoops to go live. It's weird. Yeah. So there went all the setup. So yeah, welcome everybody. Look who's back. Piper's back. Tell a friend. I'm sure more, people pleased you're back. We have zero viewers.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Also, that my fans went to sleep.
But you know what? We're going to do a show anyway because they can watch it later.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So what we're going to do, tonight's topic, we got a couple, and they're funny. The first is we're going to talk about one of the creators of the Punisher is mad at the police and the military for using the Punisher logo on, for certain things. So yeah.
Yep.
So let's just get into it, right? Okay. Did you get you got the link, right?
Oh, bruh. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is from Bounding into Comics. Let's see how it looks on the stream. Yes. Oh wow. Let me move that over slightly. Is it this? Oh no. Oh no, boomerang.
Oh no. Oh crap.
Oh, I see what the problem is. Hold on. Ah. All right, I can fix this. Hold on a second. Live boomerating me. I don't really see all this advertisements anyway. There we go. All right. Okay. Punisher creator Jerry Conway derides police and military who use Punisher symbol. This is, like I said, from Bounding into Comics. Punisher creator Jerry Conway decided to deride police and military members who use the Punisher symbol. Conway described police and members of the military using the Punisher symbol, quote, as offensive as putting a Confederate flag on a government building. Interestingly enough, in an interview with Sci-Fi, Conway praised the Netflix version of The Punisher before deriding police officers and members of the military for sporting the Punisher logo, or Punisher symbol. Okay. Conway described Netflix Punisher as, quote, as a, quote, heroic damage figure, someone you wouldn't want your kids to emulate, but who you could understand. That was a high tightrope to walk, and they did it. When asked about his thoughts on the military and police co-opting the Punisher logo, Conway sang a different tune. In a lengthy response, he concluded that the Punisher and military using the symbol are making a, quote, very ill-advised statement about their understanding of the law. Conway would even describe the use of the Punisher logo as, quote, disturbing. Well, thank you, ad. I want to see this shit. Get the fuck out of here. Just fucking Iron Man just all of a sudden in the middle of my screen. That's why I got fucking ad block, you piece of shit. God damn.
Oh boy.
Everything's going wrong tonight. So anyway. Okay. So here's his full response on the matter. To me, it's disturbing whenever I see authority figures embracing Punisher iconography because the Punisher represents a failure of the justice system. He's supposed to indict the collapse of social moral authority and the reality some people can't depend on institutions like the police or the military to act in a just and capable way. The vigilante antihero is fundamentally a critique of the justice system. And E-Ample You're seeing the same thing, right?
Yep.
An e-ample, which I'm sure they meant example, of social failure. So when cops put Punisher skulls on their cars, or members of the military wear Punisher's skull patches, they basically side with an enemy of the system. They are embracing an outlaw mentality. Whether you think the Punisher is justified or not, whether you admire his code of ethics, he is an outlaw. He is a criminal. Police should not be embracing a criminal as their symbol. It goes without saying, in a way, it's offensive as putting a Confederate flag on a government building. My point of view is, the Punisher is an anti-hero. He's someone we might root for, while remembering he's also an outlaw and a criminal. If an officer of the law representing the justice system puts a criminal symbol on his police car, or shares challenge coins honoring a criminal, he or she is making a very ill-advised statement about the understanding of the law. It's quite galling to see Conway praise Netflix version of The Punisher, who acts outside the law, as a hero while condemning police and members of the military for viewing the Punishers as one as well. Where Conway appears to go astray with his condemnation of police and members of the military sporting the Punisher logo is his idea that the Punisher is a criminal. By calling the Punisher a criminal, Conway seems to make the assumption that his behavior is wrong. As Conway points out... So what?
I mean...
Yeah. As Conway points out, the Punisher is more of an outlaw. While some may view his behavior as morally wrong, others see him as the embodiment of ultimate justice. The Punisher does what law cannot and is incapable of doing. He takes on organized crimes that have bought corrupt police officers, paid judges, and ultimately take over the law and prevented it in their favor. The Punisher can't be bought and paid for. He's an unstoppable machine of justice, and when he sets his eyes on you, he doesn't stop until he metes out that justice. The Punisher logo is not the logo of a criminal. It's become a symbol of justice. As a symbol of incorruptibility. My assumption is police officers and members of the military who sport the Punisher logo are doing it out of a responsibility and calling for justice. They aren't doing it because they don't understand the law. It's more likely they have an intimate understanding of the law and have seen places where the law has failed at bringing scumbags to justice. They know the law can fail, but they still believe in justice. And that criminals won't be able to escape justice. That's not to say they plan on imitating the Punisher and acting as vigilantes. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, why did old Jerry just assume that people who have a Punisher logo, law enforcement or military that have a Punisher logo on their patch or whatever, are automatically going to just start like fucking going all vigilante and just killing everybody,
Yeah.
Because I think they use the logo. The biggest reason they use the logo is because it looks cool,
Right.
I mean,
I think honestly, a lot of it is just that's a looking like.
yeah. It's a fucking skull. That's neat.
Yeah. I think the problem here is a breakdown of in his case, he doesn't know why they're using this. He's assigning a reason why they would use Punisher.
Yeah.
And it could very well be that, he's an inspiration not because he mows people down,
mm-hmm.
but because they understand. Like,
mm-hmm. It's almost like,
they're the line between
order and chaos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent people and those people that Punisher kills.
Exactly.
And maybe, especially for military things, it can also just simply be Punisher's an ex-military character, and people might identify with that alone.
Yeah.
On its own.
And also,
like I like this comic character,
mm-hmm.
and he's ex-military or whatever,
Yeah. And a lot of it, and you got to look at it too from this angle, especially some in the military. They go to another country, especially in a situation like what happened with 9/11. These people are thinking, these people killed 3,000 people, right? So at this point, it's punishment. It's not. We're not bringing them to quote justice. You know.
Yeah.
We're putting them in the ground. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, their time for quote justice is over the second that they declare war on us. You know. So. So now it's just like straight up punishment at this point. You know.
Yeah. But there's so many reasons for wanting to identify with the Punisher or just the logo but and this person is assigning one meaning to that logo and one reason. There's only one reason they possibly, and that's they promote killing the shit out of people.
Yeah, it's just to assume, like you said, or they could just see. I see a lot of Punisher logos that have it, and they have the blue line through it, for the police. It's basically, you know, that's representing the thin blue line,
Yeah.
That like that's a cop saying, I understand that I am, me and my, brothers or sisters are out here. We are literally the only thing standing between order and chaos,
Yeah.
And if we don't do it, then nobody will, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so I think
many different reasons that symbolism would be attractive.
Mm-hmm. I almost, when that thing was like, because there was Dean Cain posted about it because he said he knows a lot of people in the military who use it, and he posted this Bounding in the Comics article, and that an artist, Fabian Nasasia, he said like, because somebody asked. What did they ask? He basically, somebody asked him why would they use why would they use something that's meant for punishment? It's not meant for justice. And he said, well, that's not the liking. That's not the way they take it, right? And then Fabian Nasasia said, well, they need to understand where it came from. And I was so close today. I'm gonna tell you, Piper, I was so close today to posting a certain Hindu symbol that means peace.
Oh yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like, we'll say, well, this symbol means peace. So why is it getting blamed for everything in the
world? Exactly. Everybody, either watching the show or reading the comics, they're gonna come away with their interpretation of the events in the comics and what that means and stuff. So to assign one straight cut, if you use this logo, it's because you think it's cool to mow people down, blow them up, whatever, outside of the law, then that's what that symbol means to you. But that's not necessarily what other people got from it.
Yeah. And I'm not going to read the entire articles because, it's not a pontificating pretty much. Which is fine, but I just want to, as usual, I'll let it go to the comment section.
Those are always fun.
And like this person says, I'd be willing to bet that those in question just think the logo is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool looking skull, especially if you go with the kind of spray painted on looking version. Okay,
I got to read this one just because of the response to it. This person, or it's not a person, it's a bot, right? And he says, there's a lot of stay-at-home jobs that already exist. And in today's world, there are many more different jobs using the net. And this craze is anticipated to keep going nicely into the future. Who would not choose to work at home on a part-time basis and earn thousands of dollars monthly? This is an offer a lot of people cannot or do not avoid. So today I am going to tell you a wonderful work-at-home opportunity, which you can get paid between $5,000 and $10,000 every 30 days. Here's what I do, and the response was, "Are you guys seeing this? I'm quitting my job today."
I like that.
I love these accounts because they're so. You could tell they're so fake because they come up with like names like this, like Brienne, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the fucking image is just this cute girl,
Yeah.
To get you further enticed and everything like that. Oh, I love these no simpy ones too. Here's the thing. He says, yeah, the Punisher was lame when he first appeared. It took every creator after Conway to make him the badass he is today. And then this one, Conway wrote some of the best comics ever and some of the worst, about 50-50. But yeah, okay, I can kind of, in a way, see his point, in a way, but at the same time, when you go from one extreme to praising the project that's on Netflix, right? And saying, oh, yeah, I could see him as a hero. And then when actual heroes use the logo, he's like, oh, it's like it'd be like if the Confederate flag was on government buildings. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. Which comparing those two alone is kind of what?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it's the Netflix series is a faithful telling of the Punisher. So I got no problem with that. It's just, like I said, it seems like one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said,
I like a lot of these comments too.
Yeah. This time, I think he's right. While other Marvel heroes cooperate with police holding criminals to be arrested and prosecuted, Punisher just acts as judge and jury, killing them, acting outside and against the system. He still doesn't belong on a uniforms representing the same system he doesn't respect. I don't think they understand. See, people like this don't quite understand where the Punisher's coming from, right? It has nothing to it doesn't that he hates police and doesn't respect it.
Yeah, he really, like, the corrupt ones is the only one.
He hates the corrupt ones, obviously. But he goes after people like Kingpin and people like that because they are, they're untouchable.
Yeah.
Like, they've for years, they've just skirted the law.
The system that's made to protect other people from falsely, getting punished.
They're just exploiting.
Criminals their way around that.
Yeah, they're just exploiting the system. Yeah. And the Punisher... in the Marvel, at least in Marvel, he exists to say, oh, no, you're not going to get around it because I'm here.
Yeah.
And my idea of, quote, justice is not waiting for trial. Yeah. My idea of justice is to, fucking get rid of you. And like I said, and there's another one, the military and police use it because it looks cool. I mean, I think that's like the long short of it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it looks cool.
Plus, I'm sure plenty of them just kind of feel like they're badass. Like,
yeah. I mean, you think about it, like police and especially military. You train hard. To get the. They know the whole be all you can be thing. Yeah. And you train hard. You go through all that heartache and stuff. You come through it, it's like I'd be kind of feeling like I'm a badass.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jerry Conway's remark just goes to show how that progressivism is a mental disorder. This is a good one right here. I like this one. I think I would be less worried about the cops adopting the symbol of an anti-hero who is a representation of the failures of the system, and more worried as to why the cops are using this. The system feels the system has failed. Because I can tell you, from knowing cops, a lot of them feel that way. That like, I've had several instances where a cop will arrest somebody. They because they did something, bad, so they got arrested, right?
Yeah.
And they'll say, the officer will say, I get them booked and everything like that. He said, I'm still filling out the paperwork from the incident, and next thing I know, he's walking by with his lawyer, walking out the door saying, see you later, pig.
Yeah.
So I can see why they would think the system fails. You get them under lock and key, and then they're out before you even turn around. So.
Yeah, I know that, like, from talking to some police and this and that, there's been plenty of times where they've flat out been like, I'm sorry, I know it's fucked up, but I can't do anything about such and such unless such and such happens.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
One was for a stalker, and the dude was like, I am so freaking military, but you have to call, and he has to be caught on,
On
you
the
know,
premises kind of thing.
on the premises.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call and he runs, like, then you're just, creating. They're like, we'll file this that you put this down, but we
Mm-hmm.
have to actually actively get here in time
Yeah.
for him to be on the premises and stuff. And they're like, they've apologized a whole
Yeah.
bunch. They're like, yeah, that does mean
Mm-hmm.
that, sadly, you need to be actively in danger instead of almost in danger or whatever.
Right. Well, here's one that's really screwed up. When I was 10 years old, my dad, who does, I mentioned to you in private before, he's a plumber, right?
Yeah.
And he went on a job one time, and he was robbed by a couple of migrants, Mexicans. And in that altercation, he got shot in the hand. His dominant hand, his right hand, right? His dominant hand.
Yeah.
And, by the grace of God that he can use his hand. He's got full motion because, eventually he got the bullet out and everything. So he doesn't have some feeling in it, but other than that, it's fully functional, so.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but he had a cop, and his cop's like a really good friend of his now, but,
Cool.
but, the deputy, he was deputy sheriff at the time, and he told my dad, he says, I'm going to tell you, honest to God truth. You would have gotten more satisfaction if you went back in that house and beat the hell out of them. He said, because the justice system is not going to do anything with them.
Yeah, see?
Mm-hmm.
I've had multiple times where the cops have actively, like, bad and been like, I agree. I think these rules are stupid, but I have to, I have to follow these rules.
If anything, that tells you how upstanding they are, is that they hate the rules, but they still go by the rules,
Yeah. I mean, they still have to.
Right.
They can get in, deep shit and this and that, but they hate that they have to. They like, they like their job, but they hate how stupid all the bureaucracy is.
Yeah.
And lawyers kind of did half of that, so.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah. And so if one of them, I would see that as, yeah, I agree. This system is, stupid. We get it.
I mean, even if it's just a silent protest, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like a,
it doesn't automatically
doesn't mean they're going to go out and start gunning down people, and stuff like that, because, but it's just showing
we believe in,
we actually believe that there should be a system that works for the people and not for the criminal, like,
yeah.
Because here's what happened to those guys. I'm going to tell you what happened to those guys. Because really, in the eyes of the law, what they did to my dad was attempted murder, right? All that happened, one got deported and the other got 10 years. And then he would get deported.
He got 10 years and then he'd get deported?
Yeah.
That's weird.
But one who didn't actually do the shooting, he just got deported. He didn't serve any time. He just got deported. The other guy got 10 years and then got deported. But I mean, this is back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it's only got worse since then. So they hop right back over the border.
I was gonna say, were they here illegally in the first place?
They were migrants.
Yeah, I don't know how that.
Migrants supposedly have work visas.
Okay.
I say supposedly because, and also once again, I point out this was the 80s. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they had documentation.
Okay.
They could just come and show. It was like some of the things like they show up. This is like a friend of a family. That's my nephew or niece or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because so they could have border hopped and then just they actually had an uncle or something like that, and they took them in kind of thing and say, hey, can you ask the farmer, hey, can you put him to work kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like I said, I don't really want to get into immigration issues or anything like that, but I know how it works.
I needed a refresher on how some of that.
Yeah. And like I said, by legal standards, once again, system, right? By legal standards, to be a migrant, you have to have a work visa, right? And that work visa, of
Yeah.
course, goes from day to day. Like it goes from like you have like 90 days or 180 days or a year. You know, it depends on how long you got the visa for.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, as soon, you know, the visa expires, they just kind of quote disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So you know, it's like I said, you know, and I try. I'm one of those people. You know, despite what you hear me say sometimes, I really try not to look at color. I look at the person, you know. But
Yeah.
after what happened to my
Exactly.
dad, I get very wary of Mexicans. I said that's just a trauma. You know, that's just a trauma. You know, it's nothing
Yeah.
against them really. It's just a trauma from what happened to my dad. My dad handles it better than I do. You know,
Hey.
because you know. But, you know, you imagine your 10-year-old kid, you know, his dad got shot, who you thought was invincible, you know,
Yeah.
thinking, and it's like, even the mighty can fall kind of thing, you know, and
Yeah.
so it's just that you know, that trauma. And, you know, you know, but the thing is, like, you know, of course, you know, the one thing to do is admit to it. It's like, yeah, I know, you know,
Yeah.
I know I have a problem. Yeah, I don't call it, like I said, not really calling it racism. It's just what I associate, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
So,
and the fact that you recognize it and know why you're doing it, then
exactly. You know, that's
you're
the
not
thing.
going around saying that they're all like that.
Oh, no. I mean,
Saying
I've
it.
even
It's
had,
like,
like,
you know, when you're young and you get bit by a dog and then you don't like, you know,
dogs
you,
as you get older. Yeah.
yeah, dogs make you nervous.
Right. Well, it's like for me,
Because when
here,
one bit you, it really super freaked you out. Like,
here's another example. This was kind of silly, but it's true. See, when I was young, I really had problems with ear infections. And,
yeah.
you know, when you have an earache and stuff like that, your hearing, you know, it becomes super sensitive because, you know, certain sounds will make it hurt, you know?
Yeah.
Well, one time I had an earache, and around that time, I think me and my mom were in a store, or it might have been the doctor's office, but some kid had a balloon or something like that, and the balloon popped. And of course, it was really loud in my ears, you know.
Oh my god.
To this day, I get nervous around balloons.
No. Me too. And for the same freaking thing.
You're just afraid they're going to pop, right? You're just like,
Yes, I don't like balloons. I have a really bad, what do they call it too? Hypervigilance, and that doesn't make it any better.
right,
But I had the balloon problem before I developed that. Just developing that made it even worse.
right,
So I
right.
cannot stand. My friends used to threaten. I'm glad they never did it.
Yeah, they were going to
They
get
were
some
like, "We're
balloons.
gonna surprise you for a birthday party and just fill a room with these freaking balloons." And
And you were like,
you go,
please, no.
yeah, I was like, "Y'all won't be my friend no more." That's no.
Because, like, one time I went to, my friend's kid was having a birthday party. And, of course, there were balloons everywhere. And I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And they were looking, I was like, what's wrong? Because they were playing with the balloons and stuff like that. And I was like, please put that balloon down. I'm thinking to myself, you know?
Yes. Yes, I'm handling them like they're live bombs. Like,
Yeah. I was like, don't do that.
or at least that's how I act about them still.
Mm-hmm.
I used to like not be afraid of clowns, but then I associated them with balloon animals.
I get it. Yeah.
And there was one time like everybody thought I was being just a stick in the mud, so they were like, "No, get a balloon animal. We all have one." And so I'm walking around holding this thing like it's a grenade. Like, like if I hold it the wrong way, it's gonna explode. And then like part of it did pop. And I was so done with that.
Now,
Like a section popped.
Now here's a funny one. Me and my friend, I was 16, and so I was going to have a party and a sleepover, right? And you know, totally being a girl. No, we were just hanging out, you know. And my mom wanted it because of 16th birthday, you know, get some balloons, put it on the mailbox, right?
Oh, cute.
Well, that's fine, but the only problem is I had to be in the car with the balloons.
Oh.
It was because it was me and a friend who had already been staying with me a couple days, you know.
Yeah.
And so she was driving, and she had like, you know, the ones. It's really funny. You know, the ones that are like the kind of what you call them? The balloons that have like the writing on them, like they're like foil. more than they are.
Oh yeah, the ones that aren't the rubber ones.
They don't bother me because they don't pop. You know?
Yes, yes. Same.
Yeah.
They take a lot of effort to pop. They don't.
Yeah, and plus, like by the time
pop.
when they start deflating, all you do is just like if you want to like snip the bottom, you snip the bottom, and it's just and it's done.
Yeah, it just goes. It doesn't really explode.
Yeah. But like a regular balloon is like, it's like.
Yeah, it's the rubber ones, and I'm like,
Yeah. So, but the thing is, she had it was mostly those, but there was a couple that were, of course, when the florist was doing it, of course, they had to fill it out with some regular balloons. Like, okay, well,
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, put it in the back of the seat. My friend's in the back seat because I wasn't sitting next to him. We're in a Mustang, right? This is a This is a 2-door Mustang. See, he's sitting in the back with the fucking balloons. I'm in the front. Nervous the whole fucking time. He's falling asleep because we had been up all night playing video games, right? So he's in the back while asleep. We get to a stoplight. Mom stops. Okay, I was born. I was born in June, so it's hot, right? In the South, it's hot as shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so hot car with balloons. It touches one of the seat belts.
Oh God!
Pow! Ah!
Oh shit! I've been made fun of forever, so it's kind of cool. It's kind of weird to just now know this, but it's still really cool to find out that somebody else
feels the same way about balloons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I freaked out. My friend, of course, because it woke him up, so he's freaking out. My mom's freaking out because we're freaking out. It's like,
oh shit!
I said, she said it's a good thing it was at a stoplight when this shit happened.
Yeah, I will never drive in my freaking car. Nope.
I hang them out the fucking door. It's like,
maybe
I'll roll the window down and then roll it back up onto the string or whatever, and I just had to. They flew away. They flew. I didn't want them anyway, so fuck them. I can see that. I can see. I remember one time a friend of mine asked me, "Hey, could you pick up our balloons for us?" Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, not doing it. I was like, why not? He said, why not? I said, dude, you've known me since kindergarten. You know I'm scared of balloons. Don't do that bullshit to me.
Oh, that's so neat.
It's good to find somebody with similar phobia, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's kind of, and I mean, like,
it was so weird. It's so weird and specific. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's dumb. Right, it's dumb as shit because it's literally just a ball full of air, and it's just one loud pop and it's over. It's not going to hurt you,
Yeah.
But still, at the same time, you're like,
right, having a panic attack. Like, when's it going to pop? Oh man, I can't play. I can't. Oh, like opening cans of dough.
Yeah. Oh, like the Pillsbury.
Yeah, I have to get somebody else to do that.
I'm the same way. Shit. Like, it's the loud pop. That's what it is.
Yes, I can't do it.
Because like one time my mom wasn't feeling good. She asked me to do it. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like doing it very slowly. I was like, maybe I can do it without making the pop sound,
Right.
Anyway, all of a sudden, pop. I'm like,
My son asked me why I don't get any of that Pillsbury stuff, and I get bags of frozen ones to heat up or whatever. And I flat out tell him because I don't want to open them.
I said I find it funny.
That needs croissants, and so oh my god, I was able to trick my son into opening it for me a couple times. So he caught. So I stopped making that.
I said so Walmart one day. I think I was 20, 21 or something like that. And it just so happened to be a Pillsbury represented there. I guess he was setting up the section or something where they wanted their shit and whatnot. And I told him straight up, I said, so why are the biscuits in this thing that pops? And he said, oh, it's fresh and stuff. I told him straight up, I said, that is bullshit because I can buy those cookies over there that are on a sheet and I don't have to hear no pop.
Yeah.
You could put the damn biscuits on a sheet and it wouldn't pop.
Exactly. I don't care if I have to pay a little extra.
Exactly. I was like, I will pay the 50
I'll
cent
do
more.
it.
Just fucking.
Yeah. That, and let's see. I can't play games like oh, is it Connection? No, what is it called?
I'm guessing there's a lot of loud noises.
Reason, I was gonna say, for some reason, I know the freaking jingle forever ago for this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I had cousins that had it, and I had like a panic attack after the first time. I couldn't play it. It's the one where you match the pieces. There's a timer, and you match the pieces really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do it fast enough, then the timer goes up and it pops and it throws all the pieces out.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's I think it is. I know what you're talking about now. It might be. Yeah, I think it's Perfection. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Little shapes.
Yeah, you put the little
yellow,
shapes in
little
the
yellow shapes, and you turn the thing, and you got to put them all in by a certain time, and to stop it. Or if you don't stop it, it'll yeah.
Yeah, it'll pop them all over the place.
How about this one? Tell me what you think of this one. Okay. How about regular light bulbs? And because sometimes when you turn on a light, that little filament will pop because it's getting ready to go anyway. All of a sudden you turn, pop! You're like, ah!
Yeah, every time. I'm so glad that I don't regular ones anymore.
Dude, I told my mother the day they came out with the mini fluorescents, we were replacing every light in the house with these fluorescents.
Yeah.
Those
now
are
I'm trying
expensive.
to replace them with the LED ones.
Yeah, mine's that's what I'm
longer.
doing. I'm slowly shifting to the LEDs because you can't get the fluorescents anymore. But right now,
it's funny too because those little fluorescent ones, man, when they're ready to die, it is dramatic.
Oh yeah. They don't play
funny.
around.
It was like always it's super dramatic in its death throes, but it was never loud. So
yeah, exactly. It's funny because a fluorescent, especially because that gas starts getting, wobbly. I call it, and you can start seeing it in the light, kind of going around the light like a little, little balls of the gas going. Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah, it looks creepy. It looks creepy as hell when it's dying, man.
Yeah. See, that's the thing with the fluorescents. It's it's taken a while for me to filter out of them because they last so long.
Yeah.
Because we lived in this house. This has been going on 11 years. I put them in there 11 years ago. There's a few that just would go out anyway, to just, not too soon after. But overall, there's some in here. I think there's at least 2 in my room right now that have never been changed.
Yeah, I think I have. I moved into this apartment 10 or 11 years ago, actually.
Oh, okay.
And I think I know some of them have died and been replaced. And I think one of my kitchen lights is being nice and dramatic. So I think it's one of them, and it's gonna get replaced. I have a couple more left in here, yeah. But
because I replaced in here, I replaced the ceiling fans with the LED. And I got one LED in one of my can lights, and there's 3 can lights that still have fluorescence. And that's just my room. And like I said, we're slowly filled. And they are kind of, you go to a Sam's Club and you get I think it's 8 in thing for $15,
Yeah, which at first when you think of light bulbs,
you're like, oh, that's so expensive.
But
then you think
be in there forever.
It's this is gonna last 30 years, right?
Yeah.
It's these light bulbs might outlive me,
Yeah, I was gonna say these might be the last light bulbs I ever have to buy.
Exactly. So that's why I was explaining to Mom. I said, now realize that you'll probably never buy another light bulb, kind of thing, So, and she said, what are you trying to say? I was like, and I'm making this joke after she went to the hospital yesterday, but I was just thinking, I'm just saying, Mom, Yeah, you're 60-something years old, and but yeah, so okay, so that had nothing to do with Jerry Conway.
Did go on a tangent, but it was a fun one.
Well, we were talking about traumas and things like that, so
Yeah,
and we learned we learned a little something about each other. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ethan Van Sciver getting solicited for a bribe. I still can't believe that. That's so funny.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how that was
Mm-hmm.
at all a good idea. I just
The problem is the person that did it now, they have deleted their account, unfortunately.
yeah. Did anybody get any?
That's why I'm kind of looking through some threads to see if anybody screenshotted, you know. But
Yeah.
the account was called This Girl Roars, and they were playing up being a hyper liberal feminist
Oh
account,
boy.
and they were going like they went days like just calling out Ethan's like, oh, you're a terrible misogynist and liar and blah blah blah. You're never going to finish your book and yada yada yada. I always joke. I said, for somebody who's never going to finish his book, he's doing a whole lot of art for a book he's never going to finish.
Yeah, it seems like a waste of time if he's not going to finish it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're literally wasting more time not finishing it.
Yeah.
Or actually, I'd say you're wasting more time finishing it than not finishing it.
Yeah.
But that goes back to people saying because he was late, because he's late that he's fleecing people.
Yeah.
And I get it.
It happens.
And he said it. He said, I overestimated. He thought he could get it done quicker,
Yeah.
And plus, we're not talking about, because originally it was going to be like 48 pages, right?
Yeah.
But he said
then they reached goals and they're adding all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
But he said because he said, here, his thought process, I said, well, he's not wrong. He said, this is my story. And he said, I want it to be memorable. I want people to be able to want to buy the next issue. So I'm not going to release it until I feel it's done. Right?
Yeah.
And he said at this moment, instead of being 48, he's now up to like 75 pages.
Dang.
So this has gone from like an extended comic book to almost a graphic novel.
Yeah. So I mean, they're getting for the wait. They're gonna get plenty of bang for their buck.
Exactly. So like I said, it's funny how like for somebody that is not finishing his book, he's doing a bad job of it. Now the whole thing is that he hasn't put a word to the page, scripting or whatever. I said, but Ethan's writing it himself, so in a way, he's scripting it in his mind.
Yeah.
Because you're an artist, and I would say I'm more of a writer. I couldn't do jack squat without writing it down first, right? As far as
I like writing. I like writing too, but
so you're both ways, but you can come up with a scene and draw it.
Yeah, that's because I could see it in my head,
right?
Play out. So I don't necessarily need to write it. That's more for if I'm writing something for a different artist.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like if, for example, I wrote a script and you were going to draw it, right? In that situation, you need to see the script so you know what to draw.
Yeah.
But if you're the writer and the artist, right?
Yeah.
You were thinking, well, I know what I want in this scene, and I know how the story's going to play, so you can draw it without scripting it, and then you can quote script it because at that point you're just filling in what the scene is. You're filling in the words that they're saying and stuff like that. Yeah. So I get his mentality. It's kind of the Marvel method without steps, with less steps. Because the Marvel method, right?
Maybe I don't know.
Okay, the Marvel method is basically the artist draws the book and then the writer fills it in.
Wow.
It's kind of it's also called the Stan Lee method because Stan Lee, back in the day, he was writing so many of Marvel's books. I think at one point he was doing 15 books a month.
Dang.
So what he would do is give them an overview of what he wanted, right?
Yeah.
So okay, the first artist come in. All right, he's the right artist for the Hulk. He said, okay, I want the Hulk to give me 22 pages of the Hulk rampaging through the desert, and he's fighting Crusher Creel, Absorbing Man, and this and that and the other. And so the guy draws it, and then whatever they draw, he writes the story around that, right? So next person comes in. Next person comes in during Spider-Man. So okay, I want Spider-Man, of course in New York City fighting the Green Goblin. And they, and then somehow Mary Jane gets hurt or whatever. So yeah, they go draw that, and then he fills in the dialogue. Yeah, so that's the Marvel method.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, what Ethan's doing is the Marvel method with less steps because he's the writer and the artist. So
yeah. See, and it's really easy to do that.
Right.
When you're both.
Yeah. But getting back to this person, this girl rollers, what they were doing is they were going around saying all this shit, while at the same time kind of advertising that they started their account this month. So this month has not been, they were only 10 days in, right? So they've made it between here and the 1st. And they were talking about they're going to start basically still going to have this website, and they're going to write all these articles. They're going to do it's basically they were going to be a call out site, is what they were trying to.
Oh, fun.
And so they started, they were doing solicitation, and somebody said something about soliciting. What are you going? Why are you going after Ethan and blah blah blah? And she said the dumbest thing, Piper. She said, "Well, if Ethan paid me, I would say something more favorable about him." I'm thinking, that's extortion.
Yeah. It says all you need to know about their super cool site, too, is...
Yeah. And what's funny, Ethan jumped right on it, which is great, because he said ethics and comics journalism.
Yes.
And so people
disappeared.
Yeah, like Ethan, like everybody caught on quick because they said, "Did you just solicit a bribe?"
Oh, that's so messed up.
That's literally saying it's like, this man is a huge misogynist and he hates women, but I'm willing to change my opinion for a donation.
Yep. Wow.
That reminds me of a TV show. This guy come in, and this guy was a preacher or a pastor or whatever, right? And apparently, the premise of this particular show is like people were going to lose their homes because the city was going to tear it down and put a freeway in or something like that. And so they're having a meeting at this house, and the type of preachers I'm talking about, you're kind of going to get, those televangelist style preachers. Yeah. So he started off. He goes, brothers and sisters, they can take away my home, and they can take away your home, but they can't take away the Lord's home. And he said, "Can I get an amen?" And the people went, "Amen." He said, "Can I get a hallelujah?" And they went, "Hallelujah." He said, "Can I get a donation?" And everybody just kind of was like, "Oh, where'd this guy come from? I don't know him." But yeah. So you got this person, and this is all coming from when SJW Spider-Man was he's been doing some weird stuff. Like, he's kind of seems like he's trying to promote Ethan. Because he's been showing Ethan's art.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really weird, and then today he said Ethan associates with pedophiles or some crazy shit.
Oh. Wow.
Oh boy. It's funny looking through Ethan's timeline because this girl Rosa deleted their account. Before they deleted, they tried to pretend they were a parody account instead of being a real account, and and block started blocking him because he said Ethan said, chased me around, called me Van Scum, asked me for a bribe to stop, and then got blocked, right? And then this was the best one. He quoted a tweet. I wish I could know what the tweet says. He's quoted a tweet and it says, how much money should I pay you to retract this tweet since you're accepting bribes? But yeah, it's funny shit. I have a... Okay. Really didn't want to do that in the middle of the thing. I had a notification. It was driving me crazy. I was like, what's going on over here? So yeah. Like I said, I figured this one going to be a long stream. But before we go to that, I want to advertise this account. This new account that came up.
Oh, yeah.
So you have the SJW Spider-Man, but have you heard of Red-Pilled Spider-Man?
I have just now.
Well, now you do. Yeah, follow at Red-Pilled Spidey. His bio says, "Commentsgate is not a hate group!" exclaimed SJW Spider-Man, and in parentheses, my evil clone. He's got some great tweets. I'm trying to find one that was like this one. I wonder if Uncle Ben would have voted for Trump. Oh God! It's like he said, How many of you get suspicious activity warnings on the regular? I've had 3 in 2 days. Even though all I'm doing is sharing my thoughts and engaging with people, my spidey sense is tingling. Let's see. Just reading some of his tweets are great. Democrats are being dicks and resulting in Americans dying. God damn. He's just going. I mean, he's straight up no simpy. It's great. It was like somewhere he was really going in about this stuff with Ethan. Oh, here you go. A clever web pun here. A Marvel character standing in for a real person there. This isn't hard. I'll never agree with SJW Spider-Man on issues, but I'd at least respect him if he'd show some creativity and personality instead of just spite, arrogance, and smugness. Let's see. Oh, God. See, this tells you how bad he is. He says, I only ever dated Gwen because she reminded me of my real crush, Tiffany Trump, one of Donald's daughters.
Oh, yeah, here's a tweet that I was confused about is when SJ Spider-Man Comicsgate isn't a hate group. I'm like, well, yay.
Yeah, because what he was doing, he was like, Comicsgate isn't a hate group, but, and he like did a whole like quote reasons why it would be a hate group, you know?
Oh.
You know those reasons that aren't true, but like I said, if we're taking everything with context, right? There's no such thing as context, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Because context matters. The context doesn't matter, right? Just like when like with Count Dankula, context don't matter. So we can just take what he said and just like, well, it's not a hate group. Oh, I like this one from Red Pill. He says, wait a minute, SJW Spider-Man spells it neighborhood with an extra U. He's not even American, let alone a New Yorker. There's no such thing as a friendly neighborhood SJW. I agree with that. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What's his at again?
He's at Red Pilled Spidey. I'll give you a link in our super secret chat.
Oh, that'll be even better.
Yeah, there you go.
Cute.
Give him the follow. And by the way, guys, when you do watch this, because I know nobody's watching right now, but just say graded 0.5 send us.
Yeah.
We'll do a little cross promotion with the one true Spider-Man who is red pilled. We're claiming this Spider-Man. He's ours now. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, this is gonna be a short one. I will say, since nobody was listening nobody was listening live, I will say I appreciate you when you do listen. Thank you so much for when you do listen, and once again, thanks for all the people who gave well wishes when I was having some. My mother got sick the other night, and it was pretty scary, but she's doing all right now. I just want to let everybody know. So, yeah, if you'll, like I said, check back with us tomorrow night. We'll try to be on time. Because tomorrow Mom should be back home, so I should be. I'm still gonna go. We're still gonna go at 9:00, but it means I'll be in place and not just coming home, kind of thing. So, but yeah. So, y'all have a good one when you do listen to this, and we appreciate you. And y'all have a good night, and see you tomorrow.
Bye bye.